And now one greater than Jonah is here. The sign of the Queen of Sheba.
The Queen
of the South will rise at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for she came from the ends of the earth to listen to Solomon's wisdom, and now one greater than Solomon is here. Worthlessness of self-reformation. When an evil spirit comes out of a man, it goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and live there. And the final condition of that man is worse than the first. That is how it will be with this wicked generation. The new relationships. While Jesus was still talking to the crowd, his mother and brothers stood outside, wanting to speak to him. Someone told him, your mother and brothers are standing outside, wanting to speak to you. He replied to him, who is my mother and who are my brothers? Pointing to his disciples, he said, here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother. The mysteries of the kingdom, the period between the king's 2 events, the sower and the souls. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him, and he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seeds fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 160 or 30 times what was sown. He who has ears, let him hear. Private explanation to the disciples. The disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to the people in parables? That is study part. Or something, Greek unclean. Again, the rejected king announces judgment. Israel, in the center of the Pharisaic revival of outward religious strictness, was like a man out of whom a demon had come of his own violation. He would come back and find an empty house. The application is to those who are depending upon self-reformation. Rejected by Israel, those of his own race, our Lord intimidates the formation of the new family of faith, which will overstep the racial claims that Israel has known to this time, and will receive all those who will be his disciples. The 7 parables called by our Lord secret of the kingdom of heaven, taken together, describe the results of the presence of the gospel in the world during the present age. That is, the time of seed sowing, which began with our Lord's personal ministry and will end with the harvest. The result is the mingled weeds and wheat, good fish and bad. In the sphere of Christian profession, it is Christendom. The figure marks a new beginning. To labor in God's vineyard is one thing. To go forth sowing the seed of the word in the field, which is the world, quite another. 1/4 of the seed takes permanent root. The result is wheat, or sons of the kingdom. This parable is treated throughout as foundational to the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. It is interpreted by our Lord himself.